Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. Now, I'm going to share a story with you that we've heard so many times before, so no one at this point should be surprised. We keep hearing the same story over and over, but it's a different face, a different crowd, a different school, a different state. But it's the same story, where there is a teacher who holds a mock slave auction, and she has her white students bid on black students. And she starts the bids off at $300. Now, of course, they are trying to teach what slavery was all about. Parents are up in arms because this teacher did such a thing. Now, I have so many different things I could say on this. I could say something in favor of the parents, or I can say something in favor of the teacher. This story can be spun in many different ways because there are so many things to look at here. But what I want to talk about is this. When we continue to put our children in environments where they are being taught by people who are not even sensitive to our struggle in this country, people in many cases who don't even care what we've gone through in this country. As a matter of fact, they continue to help perpetuate the same persecution that we've endured for a very long time. Now, I'm not saying that that is the case with this teacher, because I'm pretty sure that they're going to spin the story and say, well, she just wanted everyone to know how things really were so that they can be more sensitive to what black people had to go to. They can spin the story as well to make it fit the narrative that they're trying to fit. Okay. But we have come to understand, as a people, we've come to understand that there are many different ways that things are done, because there is a manipulation that takes place when they are dealing with us. This is why when they say they're sorry, a lot of our people fall for it. They accept that. That's all they want to hear, right? My take on this is when we continue to put our children in environments where they are being taught by people who don't love them, that becomes a problem. That becomes a problem because only a fool would send their children to their enemies to be taught. Now, that is not my quote. Many of you know who quoted that, okay? Only a fool. Now, I'm not calling anyone a fool. It's just a quote. Malcolm X made that quote, okay? But when you really think about what he's saying, we do that all the time. But do you see them bringing their children to our communities to be taught by black teachers? Now, of course, there are onesies and twosies. Don't say, well, you'll have someone say, well, I went to a black school. You might have one or two or three here and there. But I'm talking about en masse the way we do. We do so many different things because we don't care about the right things. We care more about how our children dress and how they're keeping up with the Joneses than what they're actually learning, because I don't think we get it. And then we complain about these things that keep happening to us as if we're clueless, as if we're shocked that someone could do such a thing. How many different ways does it have to be explained to us how this country feels about us? How many different ways does it need to be explained? Is it not getting through our heads yet? When I see our people on the news whining and crying as if, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is still happening in 2019. When I hear these things, I'm saying to myself, oh my goodness, did anyone look at anything that's been happening over the past 5 years? I don't even have to go back 10 years. Or 15 or 20 or 30 years. As a matter of fact, I can go back over the past year. There has been enough. Just within the past year. This is what happens when you close your eyes to reality. You become blindsided by the things that have always happened to us. You become blindsided when you see these things happen, and then you're shocked and surprised. these parents are up in arms. Okay, I understand how they might feel some kind of way about this. I get it. But up in arms? There's nothing else that you've seen thus far that has you up in arms? Do you see the other things? See, the problem is when things happen to people specifically, something that they can talk about or be up in arms about, that's when it gets serious. But that's because we are so divided in our minds, we don't see ourselves as a collective. Now, again, there are small segments and small groups, but if we all saw ourselves as a collective, we would pitch in together to help one another, but that's not happening on a large enough scale because you have the middle, the low, the upper class, different segments of the Black community who don't deal with each other. Most don't even love each other, don't identify with each other. The men hate the women. The women are starting to hate the men because they're hated by the men. The children don't respect the elders. They don't respect their parents. When you have all of this chaos in our communities, we can't collectively come together and fight anything. All we can do is complain about, oh, they were having mock slave auctions. And oh, we're up in arms. When you have so many wrongs in the Black community that we should be up in arms about. But most can't wrap their brains around that because they're concerned about their little issue. Other groups, they see their issues as a collective and they say, okay, this is what we're going to do about it. Now, I understand the ruling class do not do things fair. They don't. Because they will have someone in their group who will commit a specific crime. But they will pull strings and do things and make it all disappear. While someone among our people will do some hard and heavy time for the same thing that they let Jethro get away with. That is right. We know this. And so you can't appeal to the humanity of people who have set precedent after precedent of how they are going to be, because they continue to do the same things over and over. They create the problems, and then they swoop in with the solution. But you don't know that they are the players on both sides because your mind has been tricked. That is what has happened. And so, again, back to this story, up in arms, mock slavery, so many other things that are happening big, but this is yet another story that we're reporting on because our people like to hear what's happening, but nobody wants to put their hands into the soil to get them dirty, to work out solutions. And that's just the way it is. Okay, family, I am out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.